We are going to talk more football momentarily. Going to be joined by Gridiron Great Ickey Woods. He's actually on the line, so why don't we bring him on and get things started, Jeff? Thrilled to be joined by Gridiron Great Ickey Woods. Ickey, are you there?
I am. What's going on, fellas?
We are thrilled to get to talk to you. It's exciting times. We'll get to all your work with Gridiron Greats in a minute, but we want to start with a Philly angle that Jeff found. You played your college ball with Randall Cunningham for a year, winning the conference title in the California Bowl. What was it like to play with him, and what'd you see?
Oh, man, it was unbelievable to play with Randall, man. Randall did some things, man, that were very unbelievable, and I knew he'd have a great pro career because I was actually a freshman coming in, and he was a senior. My freshman year, senior year, man, and just to sit back and watch the amazing things that he did in college. You think he did some things in the pros, man. He did twice as much of that in college, man. He was just an all-around athlete, great quarterback, and also a great person.
What was it like to see Randall develop the way that he did, and then also to watch how he continued to develop in the NFL?
Oh, it was awesome to watch, man. Seeing that I played with him in college and some of the things that he did when he got to the pros, you was like, oh, there go Hooker Duke. That's what we used to call him, Hooker Duke. There go Hooker Duke up there getting it in. But he was a talent, man. We knew when he left there that he was going to be a great NFL player. And not only a great player, he was also a great punter. He punted for us in college. So, when he got up there and boomed a 70-yarder in the NFL, I knew that he had it in him because he kicked for us in college.
So we do a lot of research before we have guests on the show, and Jason and I were looking, and the two most famous college football players from UNLV are you and Randall Cunningham. But as we're going through that, we actually saw that there's another guy on that team who became pretty famous. Was Suge Knight a teammate of yours?
Yeah. Marion Knight. Yeah, his real name is Marion. Yeah, he was a teammate of ours. Yeah, good dude actually. He was a good dude, man. I don't know what turned him to go down the path that he chose, but he was a good friend of mine in college, man. He's a good dude.
Yep. So you get from UNLV to the Cincinnati Bengals, drafted in the first round, and had an amazing freshman season. What was it like for you to have the kind of season that you had that included going to the Super Bowl?
Well, it was an unbelievable season, man. Never, I knew I had the ability to play at the next level, but I got with a team who was trying to make strides for themselves, and coming off a 4-12 season a year before, they made adjustments and guys made commitments to each other, and I just so happened to come along at a time where these guys were meshing together and just so happened to fit right into the mold and be the type of running back that they needed to help us get to the Super Bowl.
So I remember that season a lot because it was when I was really becoming a fan of football and watching a lot. And so I couldn't dance well, but I definitely remembered the Ickey Shuffle and may have embarrassed myself trying to do that a time or two. How did that come about?
You and me both.
So my understanding, what Jeff found here, is that you previewed that for your mom, and she didn't quite encourage you to go do that. How did that all come about?
Yeah, well, I flew my mom in the week before the game that we played Cleveland Brown, and me and my two oldest kids at the time were up jumping around. I was playing some music. We were up jumping around, having some fun, and I just said, Mom, if I score tomorrow, this is what I'm going to do. And it kind of started off where I just jumped in the air and kind of put my hands in between my legs. And Ricky Dixon, who was our first-round draft choice that year, came up to me and he was like, Woods, what was that? I was like, oh, man, that was my celebration dance, man. And he was like, man, that thing was whack, man. That was whack. I said, what you mean whack, Rick? He said, no, you don't do that, man. He said, so I said, well, what you think I ought to do, Rick? You think I ought to put some steps to it? he was like, yeah, man, put some steps to it. So that whole next week, we were playing the New York Jets. And that whole week, I'm thinking, what can I do to make it simple, put some steps to it? And I couldn't come up with nothing. 5 minutes before it was time to go out and get warmed up, it just hit me. And I said, Rick, check this out. This is what I'm going to do if I score today. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to hop back 3 times and spike the ball. He was like, oh, yeah, Ick, man, that's going to be live. That's going to be live. And I just tell everybody, I was fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time. We were winning ball games, and we made it to that Super Bowl. We made it to the Super Bowl that year, and that's probably one of the main reasons that it caught on. If I was on a losing team, it probably wouldn't have caught on, and it was just so happened to be in the right place at the right time, and by the grace of God, I was able to create a dance that swept the country.
You know, as we promoted this, I can't tell you how many people reached out to us and still talk about it to this day and have such fond memories of watching those games and watching you do that. Did you have any idea that this would become so iconic?
I really didn't. You know, I was just actually trying to create something for our fans because, you know, I never did it away from home. It was always in front of our hometown crowd, so I never shuffled on away games. Something to get our fans rocking and to get the jungle rocking that we played in. And so fortunate enough that we were undefeated that year and at home and, you know, was able to make it to the Super Bowl.
So we wanted to move on to Gridiron Greats as much as we could just listen to those stories all day. But, you know, you had some firsthand experience with them. You suffered a knee injury earlier in your career, and they were able to assist you. Can you talk a little bit about how Gridiron Greats was able to help you? And then we'll get more into.
Well, I was doing some promotional stuff for Gridiron Greats down at the Super Bowl in Miami, and we just so happened to was at a golf outing, and, you know, I don't know what I did. I don't know how I did it, but I tweaked my knee somehow on the putting the golf ball, and the whole rest of the time that we were down there, I was limping around, and the guy who I was riding with, I said, I'm sick and tired of this, man. I won my workman's comp disability against the Bengals, but every time I want to get something done to help my injuries, you know, they deny my claim. I have to pay for it out of my pocket, and then I have to turn around and sue them, you know, to try to get the money back. And I said, I don't have the means to get knee surgery, man. I said, I'm sick, man, because I've been going through pain for 7 years now. And my man was like, well, you know, what if we can get your knees done for you? Will you be willing to do it? And I was like, yes, I sure would. And he said, okay, well, I tell you what, when you get back home, I'm going to give you a call, and we're going to make arrangements to get it done. So I'm thinking, okay, well, he's going to call me, and we're going to talk about, you know, getting it set up and get it done. So I get back home, man, the guy calls me about a week later. He said, okay, Ickey, are you ready? You know, we ready to get your knees done. I said, what do you mean, get my knees done? Yeah, we can get you into the doctor and, you know, probably get them done within the next couple of weeks. I'm like, oh, no, man, I ain't ready for that. I say, but, yeah, I do want to get them done. I say, if, you know, I don't even know how long I'm going to be on the shelf. I don't know how long it's going to take to recover. I said, I need to find all that out so I can plan to have this knee surgery. I can't just take off and get it done. I got the plan for it. And so I was able to talk to the doctors and everything, and they told me it would probably be a 2-month process to rehab and get everything back going where I'm probably walking on my own again. So I was able to, a year later, I was able to get both my knees replaced. Didn't cost me anything. Gridiron Greats paid for everything, so I was real fortunate to have that happen. And so I'm a firm believer in the Gridiron Greats and everything that they do to help former players who really can't help themselves, you know.
And a lot of people don't realize that, they think professional athlete and they think immediately millionaires. They think that they can cover all of this and that injuries are covered by the
Well, you have
NFL,
to
and it's really
understand
not the case.
also, no, it's not the case at all. Once you stop playing football, especially in our era when we played back in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, man, those guys, we didn't have the guaranteed contract, and we wasn't making the millions and millions of dollars that they making now. So you can't base our situation on the guys that's playing now, because you're right, the guys that are playing now are become instant millionaires once they become a professional player. But it wasn't like that 30 years ago, 40 years ago. We had to get jobs after the season. We wasn't making that type of money. So, we're the average everyday Joe, just like everybody else is. So, I didn't get a chance to make the millions and millions of dollars that these guys are making now. None of us older guys had an opportunity to do that, So it's unfortunate, but we have to live our lives day by day, and we gotta depend on going out and being able to work. But with our bodies being so banged up, it's hard to do that. And I'm hoping the NFL will step up and start helping these guys the way Gridiron Greats are trying to do.
So as average Joes, you got to tell us, what do pork rinds have to do with the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund?
Well, the pork rinds has a lot to do because they do a lot of raising funds to help Gridiron Greats help the guys, and so that's why we have a pork rind appreciation day. It's the small batch recipe. They got all different types of flavors, and plus the pork rinds are good, man. I love them with a little hot sauce, man, and I had some fun with them that way. We got a bunch of guys who support this program, like Jack Youngblood, Andre Reed, Billy White, Sue Johnson, Kenny Houston, Reggie Kelly. So you got a bunch of legendary guys who support this, who Gridiron Great has helped in the past, and we just try to help them help other players. And Pork Rind Appreciation Day does that. And Rudolph Foods, who is the subsidiary who owns the pork rinds, have done a great job in donating to help the cause.
So last one for me, we like to talk about the impact that athletes can have on the community and the platform that they have. You're somebody who truly has used that platform. You've got the Ickey Woods Youth Foundation. You have the Javante Woods Foundation after your son who passed away, that raises money and funding and education for asthma research and organ donor education. Can you talk about what it's like for you to be able to give back and impact the community through this work?
Well, it's great, man. It's great to be able to save a life. It hadn't been great as of late with all the COVID restrictions, because we're not able to raise money because we're not able to social distance. So we're trying to find new innovative ways to help raise money and keep the mission going. So, but it's as you know as well as everything, it's been tough on everybody with this pandemic going on. But we love giving back. We love to put a smile on faces that wouldn't normally be there. Just being an athlete or being someone who's legendary, whose name carries a little weight. It's always good to put your name to a good cause and help others.
Well, we'll make sure to put the information for the organizations out on how people can give to Gridiron. You have a website or anything that they can find out more information?
My website is Jovante, and that's spelled Jovante woodsfoundation.org. Perfect. So they can go on there and support my son's foundation as well, and we cater a lot to asthma. I lost my son to asthma, so we do a lot in the asthma community.
We will make sure to put the information out there. We'll also put the Gridiron Greats information out there. Thank you for giving us a few minutes, and best of luck with everything going forward.
I sure appreciate it, man. And you guys stay good and stay strong, man. Be safe out there.
Have a great day, Ickey. Jeff,
All right, brother. You do the same.